Today, I'm driving an exceptionally rare version of an exceptionally not rare car, the Ford Mustang GT from the SN95 generation. Is this the worst Mustang of all time? Or will this uncommon Aztec Gold colored convertible win me over? Let's burn some rubber and find out. Hey there, I'm Brad, and while many of you know me as a Corvette owner, I used to be a bit of a Mustang guy. Years ago, I owned a 2001 GT Bullet Edition, and even further back, I had this 1994 GT Convertible. Both were from the SN95 generation of Mustang. That run is neatly split into two eras. While most people can dig the more powerful, better handling, sharper looking New Edge refresh, which debuted in 1999, it's the softer, slower, earlier version that came before it that we're focusing on today. And this isn't just any old example, because this one is painted in the one-year-only Aztec Gold coloring. This hue was only available in 1997, and it was not a popular option. Ford sold an impressive 116,000 Mustangs that year, but only 1,135 of those were Aztec Gold, so only around 1%. Also rare for an SN95 is how stock this example is, with the mild exception of an aftermarket air intake. So this survivor is a great baseline to see what these early and unloved SN95s are all about. Now I have to admit, I do have some nostalgia for these cars beyond just being a former owner. I remember quite vividly as a kid when this car came out in 1994. You gotta keep in mind that the Fox body that came before it, those cars started in 1979 and they ran all the way to 1993, so it was a big deal once this car came out. In fact, it was on all the magazine covers. I still have many of them, including my really cool holographic Motor Trend. But at the same time, I am gonna be very objective in this review. Let's talk about power, or perhaps maybe the lack of it, which is a big reason why a lot of people do not like these cars so much. And this year, under the hood, you got a 4.6 liter V8, single overhead cam, 215 horsepower, 285 pound-feet of torque. I'm gonna punch it and sort of see how she moves. More noise than go, but the noise is really nice. This particular example is an automatic. You got a 4-speed, it is electronically controlled, and I have to say, it's actually doing a lot better out here in the canyons than I thought it would. It is eager to kick down. Woo! It keeps up, it's fine. My old cars had stick shifts. It's not a hydraulically assisted clutch like you get in most cars. It is a very, very stiff cable-operated clutch. Motor Trend at the time tested one of these, an automatic with the convertible, 0 to 60. Was 7.8 seconds. So, you know, quick, but not blistering. Hey, that's a cool car, yeah. Okay, steering is also not great. Very, very light. These brakes, very spongy American style brake pedal. The other thing I notice with these cars is how high up you sit. Now that makes for great visibility, especially with this convertible. The windshield frame isn't overbearing. It's nice and kind of upright. I don't feel like it's looming over me like it does in like the Camaro or Trans Am of the era. There's not much buffeting. It's very calm in here. The convertible top, which is power operated by the way, very, very simple. Very, very nice to use. Now, one thing that I love about the SN95 over the Fox body, the SN95 really went to town on structural rigidity. There is actually not that much cowl shade going on here. There's a cross brace underneath the hood. There's a special cross brace in the convertibles underneath the car. It's like an X brace. And all that adds up. It does add weight. This car is about a few hundred pounds heavier than a Fox body, but it is a lot more refined. I don't hear a bunch of squeaks and rattles, even with a car that's well worn like this. That is really, really impressive. Okay, let's try another little turn here. How she do? Woo, baby! Woo! Okay, so you got the bumps. Woo! Bumps, bumps, bumps. All right, so the biggest negative, in my opinion, with the SN95, this includes the New Edge redesign, is that live rear axle. People will say, oh, it's very simple. No, it is not. As someone who has rebuilt the rear suspension on one of these things, It is so overly complicated. There is a ton of unsprung weight, and you have all these lateral links and 4 shock absorbers just for the rear end alone to keep everything under control, and it's still a bunch of monkey motion. I've driven these with the independent rear suspension, the Cobras, which came later. It is a world's better car as far as handling. It feels less ponderous. Okay, got a tight turn here. Ooh, let's see how she does. Ooh, understeer, baby, yeah. Okay, so yeah, these cars were designed with understeer in mind, actually. They kind of knew the clientele, which was a lot of young hooligans. It isn't the best on a canyon road, but it is safe and predictable. It does mean, though, if you overcook a corner, you're going in front first and not butt first. So pick your poison. So yeah, they sold a ton of these cars, even though in the 90s, SUVs were starting to take over. And you might wonder, why the heck they do that? It doesn't perform that well. Well, I'm gonna pull over and we can talk about that. Believe it or not, you're looking at the main reason for the SN95's success: its styling. When Ford renovated the ancient Fox body into the new SN95, the budget was slim, just $700 million. For comparison, Ford spent $3 billion on developing its new Taurus at around the same time. So a lot of engineering had to carry over from the Fox body into this new Mustang, including that dated live axle and the GT's slightly underwhelming V8 engine. So Ford focused heavily on styling to sell the car instead. They held extensive customer clinics and found that Mustang fans wanted the new car to recapture the look of the original Mustang. Ford stylists knew they wanted to include callbacks, like the side vent and character line, the 3 segmented taillights, and of course the pony galloping along the grille. Even then, Ford wasn't sure how aggressive they wanted their Mustang of the 90s to be, especially with rugged SUVs starting to gain dominance in the marketplace. So Ford created 3 different design proposals. The mildest of the bunch was given the codename Bruce Jenner. On the other end of the spectrum, you had Rambo, the Wild Child. And slotting neatly in between the two was Schwarzenegger, which ended up being the clear favorite and the basis of the new Mustang. And it was the right call. In a Motor Trend survey of owners at the time, looks were the #1 reason for purchase, with 91% of owners saying it influenced their decision of buying one. And in the same survey, 74% said style was the thing they liked the most about their car. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to recall anyone who recently bought a new car just because they thought it looked neat. But times were different back then. I have a theory that looks mattered more way back then. You want to know what we did in the 90s before the internet? We just stared at stuff all day long. Remember those 3D Magic Eye books? Those screensavers that we all just used to sit and stare at? Or Windows Media Player, Where's Waldo, or holograms on stickers and trading cards and everywhere else. And we were most definitely staring at car magazines and car advertisements and car brochures. So maybe that's why car design has gone downhill ever since the internet and smartphones took over. Maybe everyone's too busy to just stare at cars like we used to. Okay, so the SN95 nailed the looks, but is it all show with not enough go? And if so, does that make it the worst Mustang ever? A lot of people think the Mustang II was the worst Mustang ever, and objectively it was. Although it sold well, it was barely a step up from an economy car, and the most power you could order was a measly 140 horsepower. Performance was seriously lacking. In a Car and Driver top speed test of the hottest American cars from 1976, the Mustang II Cobra II was the loser, topping out at just 105.7 miles per hour. But to be fair, all American cars kinda sucked in the mid to late 70s, whereas the 90s were boom years for the sports car. Every manufacturer had at least a few sporty car offerings, and the Mustang's arch rivals, the F-body Camaro and Trans Am twins, packed way more heat, and the F-bodies had sharper handling with less understeer, more what you'd expect from a proper sports car. But even though the Camaro spanked the Mustang in performance and was available for the same price, the Mustang outsold the Camaro by a stunning 4-to-1 margin. While the F-bodies were beautiful in their own right, their hard edge styling just didn't resonate with 90s buyers the way that Ford did with its carefully researched and rounded Mustang. The trim size and upright stance made the Mustang easier to see out of and maneuver, as well as helping it clear obstacles with ease. Plus, the racy packaging of the F-bodies meant maintenance was more of a hassle. In a nutshell, the Camaro and Firebird appealed to performance enthusiasts, while the Mustang appealed to everyone else. So is the underwhelming performance of the Mustang GT really such a crime? The thing that people gotta understand is that the Mustang, even with the stick shift, the Mustang GT anyway, is not a sports car. It is a sporty car. And you know what? When you really think about it, that was what the original mission of the original Mustang was. Those weren't real sports cars either. The most popular version of the original Mustang only had a 289 V8. It wasn't like a rocket ship, but it was quick enough to get out of its own way and have fun and sound good. They were very accessible, cheap, simple, affordable, and stylish, small rear-wheel drive, sporty cars. So in a way, the SN95 is a very pure reimagination of that original mission, and the heritage styling cues fit right in. And I think that the inviting styling is part of that formula. It's got that affable smile in the front. It's got the saucy, curvaceous dash. I miss cars like this, especially in these fun colors. Nowadays, cars are all black, gray, white, boring. Back in the 90s, they were experimenting with fun colors, and I love that. It adds to the happy, fun flavor of this car. Everything about this car, you get in, you understand what's going on, nothing's confusing, and they're so cheap. In fact, this car made my top 10 list of fun cars that you can drive every day for less than 10 grand. Corner, here we go. Oh, understeer, I don't want to understeer into the wall. Oh, hold on, buddy. Oh boy. So yeah, this is more of a cruiser than a canyon attacking car for sure. Although I have to say, driving in the canyons is super pleasant, even at the slower pace that the car wants to go. I don't want to have this go too fast. I'm enjoying myself. It's a beautiful day. The sun's out. I'm smiling. The car is smiling. Life is wonderful. This car reminds me of like an old dog. It's friendly. It's happy to see you. Yeah, it's a little slow, but you know what? It's hard to be mad at it when it just wants to have a good time and wants to lick your face. If you just want a nice, simple, chill, cool-looking vehicle, it's a blast from the past in a lot of different ways. This car could be your golden ticket, your Aztec golden ticket. Those are my thoughts, but now I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think about this era of Mustang? Have you ever owned one, and if so, what did you think of it? Let me know. I read and respond to every comment I get. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have a cool car, get out there and drive.